Hi guys, this is Himanshu and in this video I will be discussing about Fermat's Little theorem and its application in competitive programming. So Fermat's theorem states that for a given prime number p, a raised to power b modulo p is equals to a modulo p, and this a can be any integer. So let's look at some example to understand it a little bit better. Suppose p equals to 7 and let's take a as 2. So a raised to power p, which means 2 raised to power 7, which is equals to 128. So what is 128 modulo 7? So what is 128 modulo 7? Let us divide it. So as you can see, 128 modulo 7 is 2. So this was some hard math. Now let's take another example. Suppose p equals to 3 and let's take a equals to 4. So what will be 4 raised to power 3? It will be equals to 64. So 64 modulo 3 will be 1, which is equals to 1, and 4 modulo 3 also equals to 1. So this is it. This is indeed a little theorem, it's but it has some big applications in CP. Now before going into application, let us see a modification of this theorem, which goes like this. Suppose a is not divisible by p, so if we divide both sides by a inside modulo, we will get something like this. And this can be extended further. Suppose if we divide by a again on both sides inside that modulo operator, we will get something like this. Now these two modifications of Fermat's Little theorem is extensively used in CP, and this one is used very often. So let's discuss the application of Fermat's Little theorem. First I will start by this. So let's see how this is used in CP. So suppose you have to calculate something like this. Let's say you have to calculate a raised to power some expression modulo p. Now suppose this expression e itself evaluates to a large number which can exceed integer. Like suppose e is something like this, b raised to power c, or it can be something like this, b number of ways to select c out of b items. So these values can exceed the range of integer. So now let's see how can we use this to solve this problem. So let's say e evaluates to some value x. So we can write this as a raised to power x. Now this x can be written as some multiple of p minus 1, some multiple of p minus 1 plus the remainder, which is given by modulo operator. Now using the property of exponential, we can write these separately like this, into a raised to power r. Now this thing will turn out to 1 using this property. Why this can be written as like this, a raised to power p minus 1 multiplied q times. So now instead of solving this a raised to power this expression, we only have to solve a raised to power r, and this r will always be less than or equals to p minus 2, because remainder r is always smaller than its divisor, which is p minus 1. So r will always be less than p minus 2. So instead of calculating the exact answer of this expression, you can simply calculate e modulo p minus 1, and simply calculate a raised to power r modulo p. So you can use this approach to try and solve this problem exponential 2 on CSCS. So I will be adding the link in description. Now let's see its application number 2. So for application number 2 we will be using this expression of Fermat's Little theorem. So we will be solving something called modulo inverse. So what is modulo inverse of a number? According to definition, a B is said to be modulo inverse of A if A into B modulo P is equals to 1. So what I mean by that is, so suppose if A into B modulo P equals to 1, so B is modulo inverse of A and A is modulo inverse. What is the use of modulo inverse? Basically modulo inverse is used for modulo inverse is used for performing division operation. We can understand it by using analogy of multiplication. So a multiplicative inverse of a number a is 1 by a, because a into 1 by a gives 1. So basically division, say, so we can say division something like this: b divided by a is nothing but b multiplied by multiplicative inverse of a. Similarly, if we have to perform modulo operation, if we have to perform division and modulo operation, something like this, we can instead write it as a modulo p multiplied by inverse of b modulo p and whole again modulo p. So why do we use this expression instead of simply dividing a by b and then calculating modulo? Because this expression is not equal to these two things are not same. So let us look at some example to understand it a little better. Suppose you have to calculate 20 divided by 4 modulo 6, and you decided to do like this. You first perform 20 modulo 6, which will be 2. Then perform 4 modulo 6, which will be 4. And thus division in C++ will give you value 0. And then 0 modulo 6 will come out to be 0. But if you do it this way, but simple answer will be 5 modulo 6, which will be 1. So these two things are not same. So you might be thinking, so what, we can first perform simple division and then perform modulo, but this is not true for some cases. Suppose you have to calculate this thing, an expression a divided by b whole modulo p, and this expression a is itself something like this: c raised to power d. Now you cannot calculate the exact value of this, because this might exceed the range of integer. So you have to calculate this using modulo operator. So instead of getting exact value of a, you will get the value of a modulo p here. And if you divide this value of a modulo p by b and then perform modulo operation, the answer will be wrong. So what we can do is we can take use of this expression. Instead of performing division, we will multiply a modulo p with the inverse of b. So how can we calculate inverse? Calculate the value of a raised to power p minus 2. What we get is the inverse of a. Calculating inverse is simply as calculating a raised to power p minus 2 modulo p. And just a little reminder, This will be valid only if P is a prime number, which is most of the cases in CP. You might have seen many questions like give the answer modulo 10 raised to power 9 plus 7 or some other prime number. So suppose if you want to calculate modulo inverse but P is not prime, so you will have to use extended Euclidean algorithm. Almost all the time P is prime in computative programming, so and this way of calculating modulo inverse is easier than extended Euclidean algorithm. So this is why this approach is most commonly used in CP. So I hope after this video you got the idea of Fermat's-Little theorem and how it is used in CP. Now after this video I strongly recommend you to try and solve this problem, binomial coefficient, because being able to calculate the value of NCR is very essential for solving many CP problems. Now after solving this you can try these problems as well. All of these problems requires basic understanding of permutation and combination concepts. And if you face any difficulty while solving this problem, or if you want a video on any specific topic, you can tell us in comment. Till then, code hard.